Good to have you with us, Paul. So as we know, En Marche is going to be announcing its parliamentary candidates. Going from a standing start, is it going to have enough candidates to fight all 577 seats?
Yes, that's certainly the aim. Today they're announcing 450 of the candidates. They're leaving a little bit of a margin. The closing date is not until the 19th of May, so they've got another week or so to finalise those last 120 or so candidates, and there may be a little bit of negotiation to go on with some right-wing politicians, Republican right-wing, not far-right, but yes, the expectation is that they will have a candidate in every single constituency.
Macron, of course, riding high on his platform of change, the move away from mainstream parties. Do you think that's going to translate into the parliamentary elections, or is he going to have to be forced into making allegiances?
I think there may well have to be some kind of dealing after the first round, but as you probably know, the French general election, like the presidential election, is a two-round election, only 1 week apart. But certainly the analysis of his votes in the first and second round suggests that eventually he'll come out with a majority. How he completely puts that together is still a little bit up in the air, but certainly the impetus is there, the energy is there for him to get a majority. How large a majority is up for debate, but generally the way that these elections go in France, presidential followed by general elections, is that the president who's elected has that impetus to move forward and get a majority, even though we're talking about a rather fractured field, and we're talking about a new movement, La République En Marche, which is putting together this new list. So I would expect, certainly most experts are expecting, a majority. How big a majority, though, we're not entirely sure.
Yeah, and that will ultimately reflect on how far he can push through the reforms that he wants to bring in. His biggest challenge, arguably, are the labour reforms. The unions are against that, and as we know, his predecessor, Hollande, was unable to effectively revitalise the economy.
Yes, that was one of his big struggles. It very much depends on who he brings into his team. There are people, oddly enough, on the French right or the centre, Jean-Louis Borloo, for example, who has a good reputation with the trade unions. He's seen as being a good social republican. So Macron will choose his team with great care, and that will be part of the negotiation of this reform to the labour laws that he wants to carry out. So I think that, you know, he still has obstacles to overcome, but I think there are people there who he has and he can call upon, who will, as well as his own talents, that will be able to move things forward. I'm not entirely pessimistic about his chances, and the trade unions have actually, in the last few days, since his election on Sunday, have been a lot more conciliatory in their tone towards Macron. So we're not entirely looking at a confrontation between the trade unions and the government at this point. It might disintegrate, but it's looking reasonably positive at the moment.
Paul, thank you very much indeed for that. Paul Smith there at the University of Nottingham.